Hey, how's it going, guys? It's been a while. Today I've got the UMIDIGI A13 Pro. I want to thank UMIDIGI for sending this out. I'm not sure if that in the CPU area where it says A55 if that's an ARM Cortex. There's 6 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gigabytes of storage. There's 2 nano SIMs and then 1 SIM card, 5150 milliamp hour battery, a 720 resolution, a 720 by 1650. That's a pretty low resolution on a 6.7 inch screen. I think 1080p should be the standard, especially in 2022, but I guess we'll take a look at it once we open everything up. 48 megapixel rear, plus 8 megapixel, plus 5 megapixel, and then the front is a 16 megapixel camera. You got some more stuff down here. In the box you start off with the phone itself. Yeah, kind of a large phone. Oh, it's in gold too, interesting. And it does come with a case, just like the old UMIDIGI phones came with, or the ones last year like the A11. Beyond Dreams, where you have your user guide and a SIM pin. There's a wall outlet and a USB-C cable. There's a sticker on the back that you can think of as kind of a screen protector. It's not really, or a back protector. It just gives you all the information back here. And I'm just going to take this out to get this feel. I'm more of a fan of the color, and it's pretty thin. It looks a lot similar and identical to its like brethren, which was the A11 Pro that I tested out last year. I can't remember if this is a Pro or the regular, but this one is larger. It's a 6.7 inch screen. You have some of the specs here. I was not aware that it had a Sony 48 megapixel camera. I think another budget device had that too. There is a screen protector that's pre-installed on here. Starting from the top is the front camera, then there's a little speakerphone grill on top. It's a little hard to see. Then on the top here, there's a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, and you do notice the camera is protruding, but with the case, it's not going to be a problem when you put the case on. And yeah, those are the rear cameras with a flash on the back. I got to fix my focus here. There's 2 volume controls. This is the power button along with the fingerprint scanner. There's only 1 speaker grill on the bottom, a USB-C port, and I believe this is the microphone. It really helped the volume emits from like the speaker grill and the grill up here. We'll see though, probably not. Then there's a customizable button on the other side here. And then finally on top is your SIM tray and micro SD card slot. For a quick size comparison, to my left is my iPhone 10. And I think it's like 5.8 inches, so this is much taller. I can still grip it in one hand pretty easily. And it gets pretty bright. I don't think this is enough to use outside in sunlight. I'm going to go out in a second just to take some pictures and whatnot. But out of the box, it looks like there's not too much bloatware here. 116 gigs free out of 128, so you've got a ton of space here, nothing to worry about. I went outside to take some pictures and videos. The camera, you can't really view it outside. Or I mean the screen. It's a little too dark. So here's what the camera looks like. It's a little hard to see on video. Zooming in. There's these geese. I hope they get out of the way. And the camera quality is okay. I like the front camera a little more than the rear. It does a good job of focusing on your face and like kind of blurring out the back a little bit. Let's make a quick front-facing camera video real quick, because I know some people have been recently complaining that I don't spend enough time with the recording or spending too much time on the camera. So here it is. Might be a deal breaker, but I think there might be some warranty that can help fix it. I'm not completely sure. Samsung would have to collaborate. Actually, I'll try to see if I can. Videos are fine to watch on here. One thing I did notice is the volume. When you adjust it by just 1 volume level from the max to the second highest level, or go down 1 or 2, there's a huge variance. I don't know why that is. I mean, it gets decently loud. Except some videos are an exception though. Actually, a little more than a few. I want to say the shorts. Some of them just aren't that loud, and you can't even hear it as much on here, unless if you have it at full volume. Wideband security level of L3, so videos are capped at 480p unfortunately on like streaming platforms like Netflix, Disney Plus, etc. In the Geekbench score you can see some of the specs that are shown here, and it's really nothing too crazy. I think the best thing about this is that it has 6 gigs of RAM. I didn't know you can find something like that at this price range, so that's kind of nice. But besides that, everything else is just kind of so-so. In the Geekbench scores, we usually got around this much, which isn't anything too crazy. And then same with the compute score. around 800. And because of this much RAM, it's you're not really going to notice any issues with when you're browsing the web and watching something, like kind of multitasking like I'm doing right here. So that's one positive thing. And usually with these budget devices, I tend to download like the Opera mini browser or something, like a lighter browser, but again, because of the RAM, Chrome works just fine. Also, having this kind of tall screen makes it convenient to read. It's like a little easier because there's more words on here, to put it simply. First game here is Roblox. I'm playing this one Arsenal FPS game. Okay, what just happened? So the graphics are set to really low. It's automatic, but I believe it's at the lowest settings. And you do notice frame rate drops here and there. I guess you could say this is playable overall. Nothing crazy though. Next game is Sonic Forces. And yeah, the frame rate does not look smooth here. Honestly, I'd say this isn't really playable because it can get intense later, and that can affect your gameplay performance. Genshin Impact seems to be running better than expected. Now, there are noticeable hiccups here and there, but overall it seems to be playable. It does a better job than, budget tablets that I've tried out in the past. So there's that. I want to check out one more kind of intense game because maybe Genshin Impact is a little better suited or optimized for low-end devices. I do want to mention that the phone has gotten pretty hot. I've had Genshin Impact on for maybe 15-20 minutes. I did leave it to the side for a couple of minutes, so there's that, but still, it feels almost unsafe to touch this up here. I'm going to let it rest for a little bit. Finally, there's this Final Fantasy game. I forgot what it's called at the moment. Okay, someone's shooting at me. Oh, I'm out of ammo too. Shoot. Yeah, this tends to lag quite a bit here and there. It's not that smooth at all. I guess you could say it's playable. Yeah, actually no, it's a little hard to say. I don't know if I'd say it's playable. Oh my gosh. Yeah, because it's not smooth in frame rate, it's a little harder to take care of some of this stuff. Why won't it? Okay, there we go. Yeah, so overall, this is a decent device, I would say. Has its ups and downs, but can only expect so much. Yeah, I'll have links down below if you guys want to check this out. But yeah, honestly, since it's a budget tablet, unless if you're looking for the best performance, I would say maybe go with the 4 gig one if you want something that's on a budget. You don't need anything high-end. Otherwise, if you're willing to spend a little more, check out some other devices that are available, because I do hear that some devices are at the 200 plus range, or phones tend to perform a lot better, and they cost just a little bit more. So if you guys have any recommendations, I'm all ears, because I haven't been keeping up with the market lately on what's available and what. One last thing before I go, I want to show you the battery life, how it's been so far. So battery life right now is at 63%. That's having it on for about 3 hours. So I'll say that the on-screen time can last for about 6 hours. And that could last you a whole day. I mean 7 hours. And you can push it more if you wanted to by having battery saver on, and it automatically turns on when it's at 15%. And then there's also ultra saving mode. And I think that gives you like a very basic form, kind of like this, where you can only use a few things. So that'll help your battery life last even longer. I did make a quick call to myself on this, and yeah, I guess call quality is just fine. Really no complaints whatsoever. So anyways, guys, I hope you did enjoy this video. Do leave a like if you did. Like I said, links will be down below. And as always, thanks for watching.